And again, when you build great teams around you, because we do, because we pay very well, and you all love each other because you know each other personally, and it's not just a business, they do all the work, really, and I get to go create new things. I've never understood the word retire. If you're doing what you love, it's not work. I get up excited to go to work. I don't dread work. You need to find answers from within yourself. That's the only thing you have control over. Being a victim of anything is defeating. It's fear-based energy instead of love-based energy. When people ask, leadership skills and those types of things, the biggest thing is just connecting to the humans that are around you. As you know, with the group that we're in, Michael, that whole point of that is to connect with everybody.
Fresh insights into what it means to lead today. Whether you want more innovation more easily, you are feeling burnt out or overwhelmed, or you simply know that something isn't quite the way you know it can be, you are not alone. I hear the same from leaders every day. On Uncommon Leadership, we explore aligning personal fulfillment with business success, creating authentic teams, and cultivating the resilience, adaptability, and ease necessary to move beyond simply surviving today's challenges into thriving. I'm Michael Hunter with Uncommon Teams, and today we'll uncover fresh insights into what it means to lead in this crazy world. Joining me is Kevin Goodwin. Kevin co-founded and scaled Quality Solar from startup to 20 million plus in under 3 years. Today, as co-owner of Optigrowth AI and strategic growth partner at War Room Operations, he builds on 20 plus years in residential construction and renewable energy to help construction and trades companies replicate that trajectory. You know your business has another level. You also know that your current people, systems, and structure are the primary anchors holding you back. That is where Kevin steps in. Welcome, Kevin.
Welcome. How are you, Michael?
I am great because I get the next hour or so with you.
Likewise.
When did you first recognize that integrating your whole self, bringing that into everything that you do, might be a valuable approach?
Yeah, honestly, I realized that at a pretty young age, to be quite honest. I've seen spirits since I was a little boy, so I don't know. I think there's certain people that have lived more times on this planet than others, and I think I'm one of those people. So I think I inherently understood when I came here, or knew that when I come here this time as Kevin Goodwin, that put a lot of effort into what you do, and because I was seeing what I was seeing, I was very present in everything I was doing. I knew I was seeing things that other people weren't, and I knew they were there. It wasn't like schizophrenia. I could physically see them, so it was, and I excelled in grades and athletics, and so I knew that I was in other ways very normal, so it wasn't like I was trying to play catch with someone I thought was a real person. I knew they weren't alive when I was talking to them. I knew the difference. So, yeah, I learned at a very young age to be very present in everything I was doing. And again, doing that is why success comes, in my opinion. It comes from that. You need to be very present in what you're doing and who with, and the teams you're building. Lots of things you do are involved with teams. And, even as a young child, all of that is working with others, and I always knew how important that was, and yeah, since a very early age, to be quite honest.
What helped you just integrate that not everyone's experience into all the other experiences you were having that were matching up with what the others around you were experiencing?
I didn't share it with anyone what I was seeing, not even my mom. It took a long time to tell her. It took into my late teens. I might even have been right when I went into college, but and I only brought it up because a lot of other family members on my mom's side were experiencing similar things. Typically that's hereditary. Souls when they come back tend to gravitate to each other that have known each other in other lives, and so I think that was the case in my family. But I finally told her about it, and that helped a lot. But integrating that into my normal life, because I could sense the spirits that they had around them, and so I was a very empathic person to the people around me, and it helped me lead a lot. When people ask, leadership skills and those types of things, the biggest thing is just connecting to the humans that are around you. As you know, with the group that we're in, Michael, that whole point of that is to connect with everybody, and about whatever topic we choose to talk about. And that's the point of life, in my opinion, on the planet, is to connect with the souls that are around you, and whether that's work or play, or that's the point. It's why we're here. That's the whole point, in my opinion. So yeah, these questions you're saying, these are like the center of my life.
The spirits that you see, do you just see them, or do you also hear them, converse with them?
I hear them too. That's a great question. Sorry, I should have qualified that. I do hear them too. I don't hear them in the way that it's through ESP. It's like they're communicating without speaking. But it's very clear it's them. It's not my brain. It's in their energy wavelength. And but yes, they do communicate very much. It's not just seeing them. They communicate while they're there. And most of the reasons that you see that I see spirits, and other people that do as well, that I've spoken to about, I've gone to retreats about these things, people, gifted people in these areas, and everyone says the same thing. It's people that are stuck in between going to the higher energy realm. People call it heaven. There's different names for it, but they're stuck between. A lot of them died very unsettled, whether it was suicide or murder or a car crash or something sudden, and they have not. Their energy source has not accepted the fact that they're not alive, and has not accepted the fact that, or that when they were supposed to see the light, quote unquote, they missed it.
Hey, just a second from the episode to please, if you're liking what you're hearing so far, hit that subscribe button down there and like the heck out of this video so you get more like this and we can bring you more of what you love. Thanks. Now back to the show.
So they know that I can see them. They know that other people like me can see them. It's almost like we have infrared. If you wear infrared glasses, or that's basically what they're seeing. They can see spirits that see them based on the vibrational energy of their soul, and so they know to come to you. And they're always explaining like what happened, what they remembered last, and and I just always try to tell them, you're not on this earth anymore. You're not. You need to go towards God. You need to go towards the light. You need to go towards Gaia. I use heaven, Gaia. I use any word I think that they might, resonate towards it. But that's where you need to go. And then I pray for them to help to open the portal if it's not open, for them to find that peace, And then they go away. I don't get visited more than once by the same soul, because I do this process. Before, what I did when I was a kid, I would hide my head under the covers and plug my ears until it went away. You know what I mean? Instead of dealing with them, I didn't, because I was afraid. Not that they did anything to make me afraid, meaning causing me harm. They never did. Just the fear of the unknown.
Absolutely. And how has this experience, both not understanding what was going on when you were a kid, knowing that you were experiencing things that other people weren't, and then now, as you're talking with spirits around the people that you're working with in your businesses, how has each of those affected the way that you show up as a leader?
Empathy. Trying to get people to talk about what's really on their mind, because I knew what I was hiding. I try to make people feel as relaxed as possible, as you could probably tell, because you've known me for a bit now. And that's done just because I want to feel an easy energy flow with their energy and my energy and everyone else's energy. You know, that's a wonderful thing when you've got symbiotic energy with a bunch of people. And so, yeah, I've got a lot of empathy. I like to make people laugh too. I like to keep things light. You can talk about heavy topics, but still laugh about them, like use sarcasm and humor with things. I do that in my normal business life. I do it in our meetings. I don't think it's used enough in business and in life. We all love to laugh. It's the highest vibration level for a reason, laughter. And so yeah, I just try to be empathetic, and I try to make people laugh, make them smile. That puts people at ease.
When you are first making a connection with people, how do you find that hook to bring laughter into the situation to help them feel more at ease?
Yeah, it's a great question. I've always had a gift with that. You know, funny people. My dad's funny. My brother Jason's really funny. I've always understood when to say something. I don't know. My brain just thinks of it, and I don't know how to explain that. I know that I do know it's a gift. But it's timing. You know, everything's timing. Humor's timing, especially sarcastic humor. It has to be well timed so people know that it's humor and not an insult or whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just sense the timing. Again, it's being present too. It's being really present. If you're really listening to the person and in touch with the energy around you, you know when you can do that. You know, and I just have a very funny nature anyway, so I'm typically looking at ways to laugh at things instead of ways to cry at things.
What helps you maintain that equilibrium in times where finding those things to laugh at can be so challenging?
I mean, I lost my twin brother to cancer, who was my business partner and my roommate in 2017. And during that time, our business partner, not anyone you know, my current business partner, someone that I'm no longer with, at the same time, I was trying to get him alternative medicine to try to save his life when he had stage 4 cancer. The guy embezzled $1 million out of our business account. So believe me, I can tell you, I know when the type of times that you're speaking about. It was very difficult. I almost didn't make it through that time. It was very hard to stay on the planet through all of that, especially the loss of my twin. But and then just someone that I'd made a lot of money with over 8 years, who claimed he was our brother, knew my family really well, knew all my friends, all of that. You know, a lot of houses we flipped together just to do that, to steal the money like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think he owed people a lot of money. I think that's where it stemmed from. I think he was leveraged for whatever he was spending money on, but never got the full details of that. Because I didn't even go after him in a lawsuit. I just started recreating money, because going down the negative energy road, that only hurts you even more. Money can be recreated, and not only that, if he's in debt and he owes somebody money, he doesn't have it to give you, so all you're going to do is get a judgment on his credit, and it's going to cost you $100,000 and lawyer fees to do so. And so it's like, that gets you nowhere. I've been in several lawsuits, either being sued or sued. And when you're in business and you're in multi-million-dollar companies, that just happens. There's really no way to get around that. Unfortunately, it eventually happens to anyone I know that's involved in a lot of business. And it's never been good. Lawsuits, even if you're in the right, are never good. They cost a lot of money, and very rarely do you get any of the actual money that you're owed. People can dissolve LLCs anytime they want. That's the point of an LLC. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just really hard to collect money. And so you should just learn from your mistakes and move on, and don't hand it to an attorney.
So now I'm even more curious, given all of those not fun things to experience, what helped you keep your equilibrium through all that? What helps you do that now when those situations occur?
I almost didn't. Yeah. I almost didn't. His spirit did. And he's like, what are you doing? Will is my twin brother. And he's like, you have such a bright future. This is not the answer. And after and not only that, he and I were very close, but when he was dying, for some reason made me his worst enemy. I don't know if it was his fear of death, the fact that I was healthy and he wasn't. It was very odd how he was behaving, and very hurtful. So that was another reason why I didn't want to be around, because it didn't end up getting healed before he passed, even though the day he passed, he told my mom and my stepdad that I need to have a conversation with Kevin. He ended up collapsing of internal bleeding. Like, he was supposed to live a lot longer than he did. And so he was very lucent and but he said, I need to have a conversation with Kevin. I've been very cruel to him. And that night he ended up collapsing and bleeding out internally and was vomiting blood. And so we didn't get to have that conversation, but at least I knew from them that he felt that way. And at first I thought, well, my mom's just trying to make me feel better, but no, my stepdad would never do that. He would he would tell me exactly the truth. This former NFL football player, just contractor, just straight as nails dude, And he's like, no, it's exactly what he said, Kevin. I was there. And so I felt more at peace with that. And then when he came to my passenger seat, it really energized me. So after he did that, showed up, it made it a lot easier for me to get through everything. And then when you go through that much pain, very little phases you after that. There's very little that can rattle you after you go through something like that. Nothing else really compares. So in a way, I'm thankful, because it would take a lot for me to experience something. I don't know what would be worse. You know what I mean? So, anyone that's twin understands what I'm saying.
What was it about him showing up in your passenger seat and telling you have a bright future, this isn't the way to go, which I'm sure many people have told you of your life, that you have a bright future, you're doing really well, you've been so successful. What was it in that moment that those words made such a difference?
Because they came from him, and he was already passed on to the other side. So I felt like he knew that I did. I think when you're no longer dealing with linear time, and you're no longer in a human form, you're in the soul form. I mean, he could actually physically see that information, and so it was more affirmation, versus someone living on the earth that just believes in you, which is great too, but it doesn't compare to someone that's passed away telling you that.
Right. And if it had been some random other spirit who you didn't have that deep connection with, they might have told you the same thing. And even though you knew that they were seeing all that same information, because you didn't have that connection with them, that depth of experience with them, their assurance that you did have a bright future might not have had near the same impact as it did coming from your brother.
Oh, absolutely. And not only that, I felt like he was coming here to stop me, because all the help I was going to be giving other people. I hadn't created my foundation yet. I hadn't done a lot of the things that, having a big house and a nice car, I mean, that's helping you. A foundation helps other people. And not just the foundation, just my giving nature in general. Our employees I'm a very giving person of my time and in my money and my energy. And so I do that in all levels of my life. But yeah, I think that's what he meant was, you're going to have so much impact on so many people. That's why you came here. Because I believe we all choose our lives before we come here. And I certainly didn't choose to kill myself at that age, even though he chose to die at that age, before he came. And so, me getting caught up on that is selfish. And, I, 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 I wasn't thinking of everybody else in the ways that I should have. I was only dealing with my own pain. Well, and honestly, when money's stolen and your brother dies and you just don't have the energy, it's like I don't feel like I have anything to offer anyone anymore. That's how I felt. It was like I'm not a useful product on this planet anymore. And that's what it was really about. And so I'm not going to be a burden to my family, and no, I'm gonna exit. And yeah, they'll be sad for a while, but they won't. It's better than me being a burden. And so that's what my thought process was at that time.
Yeah, got it. the that level of despair can be really challenging to deal with, and to have the gift of your brother showing up right when you were there at your darkest moment and reassuring you that, nah, man, this is not the end. You got way more to do here. Like, come on back and do all the things you came here to do. I can feel how that would revitalize everything that you were focused on in your life.
Completely did. It changed my life. I was no longer afraid, and I was no longer doing the self-pity thing. I was re-energized and ready to lead my family again.
That moment in time was a mountaintop experience for you. Those typically don't last. What helps you get back into the energy of that moment of remembering all the reasons that you're here, all the impact that you're meant to have in these moments where you may not despair at the level that you were then? It's still not all rainbows and unicorns.
To be quite honest, it kind of is a lot of rainbows and unicorns for me. I'm in great shape physically. I exercise a lot. I eat well. I'm successful financially. I'm helping a lot of people. I'm reminded every day of how much I help people. Even the wonderful words I hear from the people in the group, how much they've loved being a part of the group, the things they've learned, something that I'm sharing that because you're part of that. A lot of people really, that means a lot to them every week. And that's a small example of it. I'm in a very happy relationship with my girlfriend, Monica. Yeah, I honestly don't have a lot of, I have very little to complain about. And I really don't. You know, my favorite basketball team won the national championship in basketball on last week. Michigan Wolverines. I was born in Ann Arbor, so I'm a big Michigan fan. But my family's healthy. They're all part of the foundation. The foundation's in my last name and Drew's last name, my business partner, and both of our families are heavily involved in it. So I get to work with my family. Something I created, me and Drew created it. We created the whole thing. So I really do have a pretty darn blessed life. So I don't feel a lot of sorrow. I've always been a glass half full person anyway. I live life that way. It's really hard to get me down unless real bad adversity happens. But yeah, I'm in a really, really happy state in my life. I truly am.
Are you just so happy that whatever bumps come along don't even register? Or are you somehow avoiding most or even all of the bumps?
Honestly don't have a lot of the bumps. I did building the company, but now, companies, my solar company, my real estate. We're talking minor things, but I'm in a very blissful stage. And again, when you build great teams around you, because we pay very well, and you all love each other because you know each other personally, and it's not just a business. They do all the work, really, and I get to go create new things. And when you've got a certain amount of wealth, and I don't live expensively anyway, I don't have a bunch of cars, and I'm just not that type of dude. It's never meant anything to me. I have the money to take risks, and if I lose some of them, it doesn't matter. I have the ability to do that. So there just isn't a lot. I mean, the biggest thing is health. If you've got your health, you've got everything. So, the fact that I'm healthy and my family's healthy, my brother, my parents, that's the biggest thing. Is everyone's healthy. Dealing with another death would be very hard. Whenever I know death happens, but that would probably be the next time. It would be something really adverse. I can't ever see it being financial. So,
is there anything you want that you don't have?
Bigger foundation. Yeah, I want everything to get bigger than it is. I want our group to have 1,000 people in it instead of 150. I want more of everything. But else, what do you get up doing every day? A lot of people have asked me, "Hey, Kevin, are you working this hard so that you can retire early because you're 51?" I'm like, "And do what? What would I do? Like sit around, golf? No, I'm doing what I want to do. So why would I stop doing that?"
Thank you for joining us today. Please be sure to like and subscribe wherever you are watching this right now.
I've never understood the word retire. If you're doing what you love, it's not work. It's I get up excited to go to work. I don't dread work. I would get really bored if I didn't work. Really bored. Yeah, I like to watch movies sometimes or a sporting event, but not a lot. Most of it is doing something productive. Most of my time is spent that way.
I agree completely. I've always said that the times I've been most happy are the times where I didn't go to work, I went to play. For the people the clients that you help, I imagine that many of them are not in such a wonderful place. How do you help them recognize how good they do have it, where they're not actually doing well, which they may not recognize, and then iteratively move closer to where they want to be?
It's a great question. That's the most challenging part and the most rewarding part, quite honestly. What I teach them to do is to focus on what they can control, and what they can control is how much effort they put into what they're doing, what they choose to put effort into, and how they feel about themselves. And when I find out what their resources are financially, I often help them get a job to create more revenue if it is something that's a revenue issue, which it often is. A lot of times it's just diet issue. I help them eat much more healthy, and when they eat much more healthy, it's honestly less expensive when you're eating things like basmati rice and tuna. And there's very, very inexpensive beans, very inexpensive ways to eat very healthy. And so a lot of why people feel bad is because they're out of shape and their endorphins aren't working, and they're dealing with obesity and they're dealing with low self-esteem because of that. When you get them to focus on things they can actually control and they start making wins every day, you get them to set goals, simple goals every day and then every week, they start to build confidence, because then I see them again and they've accomplished those goals. I'm like, well, let's set new ones. It's just getting them out of the funk of being around their surrounding, the people they're around. And I'm like, and spend as little time around those people as you can. If you've got to go into a different room, if you've got to go outside, get away from the surrounding that you're in that's causing the issue that you're feeling. Don't allow them to do that. And that's how I help them. Yeah, they're in dire situations. And the saddest thing is when they learn what they learn and they go home about eating, about how inexpensive it is to buy. I give them the list of things. It's much cheaper for all stuff that you can get on a link card, a food stamp. Like, it's paid for by all that stuff. Their family gives them resistance. Their family, because they don't want to change their habits. And unfortunately, when you're entrenched in that type of poverty and that type of lack of resources and thought, they actually push against change the older they get. instead of help. It's really, really hard to break them out of that cycle. And until you get them to break out of the cycle, or they think it's too late for them, and they don't want to then encourage people. They want to drag people down with them, which is so sad. Their own family members. They don't want to see them get out of the situation. That's what the most shocking is.
These cases where the person wants to change and everyone around them resists is one of the hardest places to be, I find. Because it doesn't matter how much you want to be a mountain. If everything around you is a desert, you don't have anything to build on top of. In those cases where the will is there, there's so much friction, resistance coming in against it. Some people give up because some people will push through, and many people can succeed if they have the support. How do you support those people?
How do I support which people?
The people who can succeed if they just get the right support.
Can succeed if they get the right support. Is that what you're saying? Can? Yeah. I support them by, the biggest thing I do for everyone that we do, because we help children, but then we also have adults. And I incent them with like gift cards, and I incent them with things that, hey, if you come to this class, just by coming, you get a gift card. Incent them with things because they don't have any resources. So if giving them something like that just to come, I'm talking about the adults, not the children. Explaining to them how important it is, and saying, don't you really want the best for your child? Don't you truly want that? I'm sure. I said, and then I also say, I'm sure you do. I say, I have no doubt that you do. So will you please support these things that we're trying to do? Will you please, if they try to stumble from it, will you help them keep their goals going so they're not the only one doing it? Because some of these things are hard to maintain. Instead of like pushing them to go back to their old habits, can you help be a support system to this? Because the more successful they are, then I'm going to be able to train them and hire them and bring you out of this poverty situation. And if you go down these paths, I can also help you. But you've got to want to make the changes, and not just want to make them, make them. And because the biggest problem in these communities, and what's unfortunate about most of the people in the communities, including the leaders, they want to look outward. They want to blame outward people for what's going on. And that is not an empowering feeling. You need to find answers from within yourself. That's the only thing you have control over. Being a victim of anything is defeating. It's fear-based energy instead of love-based energy. And unfortunately, a lot of times in these societies, they don't make people accountable, because like these neighborhoods there's trash everywhere in the yards, and dude, that doesn't cost any money to throw something in the garbage can. Yet you don't find the garbage in other neighborhoods at all, because people don't like to litter. Most people don't like to litter. They want to put it in a garbage can because they want their streets and their yards and the grass to look nice. It's the poorest communities where they don't give a crap, and that only makes it worse for those communities. Like, you're not doing anything to help it. And so just snapping people out of that depravity, negativity, and not only that, they steal from each other in these neighborhoods. They loot each other, they steal from each other, they lie to each other, they're not united. And when you're in conflict with having less resources than others, and you need to unite with each other, that makes you stronger. And they don't do that either. So it's been the most rewarding work, but the most challenging work to be in these communities. It really is. And to find leaders in the communities that want to make people in the communities accountable, because that's not always popular. But that's the only way you solve it. You can't solve entrenched poverty without looking inward.
Nurturing that combination of feeling the challenge, being uncertain how we'll get through, and also being fully committed to finding that way is one way to define every great leader that I've had the privilege of working with. How do you help your people to navigate that balance and find their way through?
Navigate what balance? What's the balance you're asking?
Feeling the overwhelm of everything against us, being confident that there's a way through, not knowing what that way is.
How I help them navigate that is by breaking it down into very small sections. Hey, do you brush your teeth every day? Well, I'm going to get you some toothpaste and a new toothbrush. Brush your teeth every day first, so you don't get gum disease. Hey, what is it you're eating? Give me what your diet is. All right, so instead of buying this stuff, however you are able to buy that, use that same money and buy this. I want to see what your diet is over the next 2 days. Just 2 days. Try it for 2 days. Then they try it. Like, how does it feel? And the biggest thing too is drinking water. And you don't have to buy bottled water. I don't know why people think that water is this contagious thing. It's not. Water, you can buy it, you can drink it right out of the faucet. How that ever became something that was so bad? No, it's what the people that sell you water try to make you think. And there's nothing wrong with the water that comes out of your faucet. So I'm like, so you don't need to buy bottled water. Take a cup, drink cold water or lukewarm. You know, actually it's better for you to have lukewarm water, but however you will drink water, I want you to drink 6 of these glasses in a day and eat this food for 2 days. If you do it for 2 days, I'll give you a $100 Best Buy card. So I say, if you do it for 2 days, and what I'll do is I'll have 2 different people that are from the same household so that they check each other. You know, because they could lie to me. But I say, I want you to track exactly what it is you're doing. And but you see the confidence when they come back, because when you've given them that much, they do not want to disappoint you. And then when you get them in at a child's age, they don't want to lie to you either, because you're giving them an opportunity. And so you start by breaking it down into simple tasks. And again, it starts with health, because that's the one thing you control. Getting people's endorphins going is the number one thing. It changes a person's mood completely. And when a person feels healthy, it makes whatever else is going on a lot better. So that's how I do it. I just break it down into small sections. If it's a job or a job search, I give them goals with that. I want you to go to these 3 different stores and tell them that I sent you, and fill out an application. And if it's an address issue, if some people are bouncing between houses, I'm like, well, just pick one of the addresses. They're not going to check it.
One brief second away from the episode, and you know what I'm going to say. Please go hit subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification button so you find out when our next episode comes out. Now let's go back to the show.
So, I mean, there's ways around the situation that you're going through. And I said, go to thrift stores to buy it. I'll give you $20 right now, or $50 right now. If you don't have a nice shirt, like let's go to Goodwill right now. There's amazing clothing at those stores, because people are giving away nice stuff all the time now. It's like a thing. So it's not like it's all garbage clothing. It's not. It's nice clothing. And so it's like, we'll go pick you out some nice stuff. If we can't find it there, then we'll go to Walmart, or we'll go to whatever store you're used to going to, and we'll get you some nice stuff if you don't have a nice shirt to go on an interview. I do stuff like that. And because it's typically based around making money and health.
So it's not just lots of tiny steps and tiny experiments. And it's not just helping them realize what their life could be like. A key part of what you do is you give them opportunities, not forcing, that allow them, encourage them to be accountable to themselves. That seems like one of the key opportunities that you present to the people you work with, and a big part of what makes the work you do so impactful.
Yes, actually, the word accountable is my favorite word. It's the most important word. That's for all of us. If we account for ourselves, and if everyone did that, truly did that, we would have no problems in this world. It's the most important word. The most important word is accountable. It makes you honest. It makes you work hard. It makes you keep goals. It encompasses so many things.
And it leaves you the space to do that your way, not the way that someone else says you should do it.
Exactly. That's a great point, Michael. You're exactly right. If you're accountable to yourself, you own it. And that's why, like, even in my companies, I don't have any employees. They're all 1099, even though they only work for me. There's two reasons I do that. Number one, when they're 1099, they have to do their own taxes, and I help them do them. I help them. Everyone should know finance. They should know why things are what they are. If you do your taxes, you've got to know about liabilities. You've got to know about the money you're making. You have to learn a lot. My mom's a CPA, so I teach them to do their own taxes. So number one, they work for themselves. So if they cheat themselves, they're only cheating them. They're not cheating their boss. They're their own boss. Number two, you make a lot more money being 1099 because you can write off so many things. And so that you have more capital, and I'm spending the same amount of money as the person paying them. Whereas when they're W-2'd, they're making less. I've got to contribute to Fed, FICA, Social Security tax. I have to contribute to so much more. Then I don't have to contribute to any of that when I'm paying somebody as a 1099 employee. I help them create their own LLC. I show them how easy it is to do. I don't create it for them. I help them do it. I go to this website. I am all about having people do it themselves, but just help them do it. Empower people. Empower people to do things themselves. When you give them the confidence, the tools to be confident, because that's what our society needs. We need people to be independent and accountable, and not to rely on us or the government. Don't rely on these things. They're there for the basics, making sure people don't invade us. What it should be is also having health care. That should be a universal. That's just absurd that we don't have that. It's embarrassing that we don't have universal health care. It's no excuse for it. And other democratic countries have it. In fact, most do. And if that means we're making less because of the tax system, then so be it. Everyone will get the health care and the medicine and that they need. Every citizen deserves that in this country, in my opinion.
For people, Kevin, who would like to follow along with your journey of being accountable to yourself, what is the best way for them to connect with you?
Through LinkedIn, my LinkedIn profile. Also, that's actually the best way to do it. Or I have several emails. That's why, which one do I don't even remember what all of them are. So I'll just say LinkedIn is the best way to do it. Because I will read all messages on that.
Sounds great. And we'll have that link in the show notes. What would you like to leave our audience today with, Kevin?
Just whatever you're challenged with, take the small steps that is. Like, set goals, daily goals and weekly goals, and don't make them huge. Build up to those. And before you know it, accomplishing goals will just be a second nature to you. Everything in life is about habits. And the more habit-based you get with good habits, they don't become tasks anymore. They just become a way of life. And so I would suggest doing that. Whatever it is, write down in a journal what it is you're unhappy about, and then take the steps that you think it is. Write down the steps that it is to change that. And just start small steps to do it. Don't make excuses anymore about what you're not doing. And again, I guarantee most of them are about how much money you're making. So, what steps can change that? And number two, how healthy are you? Especially in America, we live in an obese society. I guarantee you, if you're healthy and you're taking steps to earn the money you want or the job you want, whichever it is, the vast majority of your other problems fix themselves, because that's usually what it stems from. Your relationships will be better. Everything will be better if you feel better about yourself and you're accomplishing the financial goals that you want. Because let's face it, we live in a world that is created by money. It's just true. So the more secure you are in those areas, then the more happy you're going to be, and the more you're going to offer other people around you in case they need help and inspiration.
Thank you, Kevin, for joining us today.
Thank you, Michael. It's been great speaking with you.
And thank you, audience, for joining us today. Kevin and I would love to know, what tiny step are you taking to get a little more accountable to yourself? Thanks, and have a great day.